EGM Network.
Hey, we're back again. Podcast number 19, Jesse. Can you believe it?
Yeah. Nice job.
Sir Pell and LLC. We're third-party tax certificate resellers here. So I take the risk. You take the risk if you buy anything off me. And once again, these guys are absolutely fabulous. Evergreen Media here. Let me get that framed up there. Right. There we go. Evergreen Media, right? Jesse,
Thanks, Bill. Yeah.
Jesse James,
you know? Podcast? Yeah, call Evergreen Media.
Call
We'll help you
Evergreen,
out.
without a doubt. And Jesse James will take care of you, man. He's like Superman over here when it comes to doing podcasts, right?
Thanks, Bill. Appreciate that.
Hey, this is number 19. Red Sox, number 19, the 73 and early 70s. Who was he?
Oh, man. I don't know.
Fred Lynn.
Okay, Fred Lynn. I recognize that name.
Okay, what did he play?
He played outfield.
Yeah.
He also played for Detroit a little bit.
Right. What outfield did he play for the Red Sox?
Ooh. Left field?
No, center. He was
Center.
He was like a gazelle, though. He was like incredible. He could chase anything down until he crashed into a wall one day, and all of a sudden he wasn't that good anymore. That's the truth, too.
Yeah.
Okay, speaking of the truth, hey, I try to spend a lot of time trying to find truth and just try to give you the facts. So I pare it down, and so it fits into some type of a podcast. I'm not a Dem. I'm not a Republican, man. I'm an American, okay? And I'm looking for our government to treat all Americans very, very well and do the best they can for us, all right? As Americans, I think the political system, we deserve a lot better than what we've been getting for years and years and years, okay? And one of the things, politicians tend to call global warming a hoax, but Jesse, I don't think it is.
No, I don't think so. There's some evidence, there's irrefutable evidence, scientific evidence that the planet has heated up over the past, over 100 years.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
It's gone up, several degrees, and we continue going the wrong way on this. The planet is getting warmer.
Yeah, that's all the Industrial Revolution. All they burned coal, oil, gas, right?
Yeah, all the fossil fuels were burning, put in the atmosphere. Yeah,
puts it in the atmosphere. That's around the world. That's just not the United States. But we're a big polluter in the 30s and 40s and 50s for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, listen, everybody knows in 2023, we're 6 years away from that date, everybody, and your Social Security is going to get cut by 24% on the benefits. The Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. Country's not in such great financial position right now. National debt's running about $40 trillion. And Americans, I believe, hold about $2 trillion in credit card debt. What do you think about that, Jess?
That's a lot of debt.
Yeah.
That's a lot of debt.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw America's in debt. We have more debt now than the GDP.
Yeah, but it's getting up there.
That's getting there.
Yeah.
So
we need fees on billionaires' transactions.
Yeah.
Okay, it's very simple. These billionaires' transactions, they get away with stuff, and they illegally, right?
Mm-hmm.
Legally, they beat the tax system.
They do.
It's bad for them, right?
Yeah.
And we have a big IPO coming up, Just. Do you know who's involved with that from a big corporation perspective?
Yes, SpaceX. Their
That's
IPO came up today.
And who are the banks that are going to be involved with that? You got any idea about that?
Absolutely, yeah. I've got it right here. Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, Bank of America, Citigroup, J.P. Morgan Chase are leading the deal, along with 18 other banks participating in the IPO. Shares in the company SpaceX will trade on NASDAQ under the symbol SPCX. That's starting today, June 12th, 2026.
I happened to check it before I left just to have a number anyway.
Okay.
It's priced at $135 a share, and I know a lot of these people listening to this podcast are going to run to buy thousands of those. And anyway, it's up to $160 a share. So if you didn't get $135, now you got to pay $160, and probably more as time goes on. And we have hardworking Americans here, that they pay their taxes and bail companies out like we did in 2008. All those companies he listed, those banks were going out of business.
Yeah.
Okay, the American taxpayers' dollars basically saved those banks, and they're all making tons of fees and tons of money. Everybody but people on Social Security. The total benefit of this IPO is a goose egg. Nothing goes to Social Security. $0 folks. $0 is going in Social Security. Jesse, we got something about Elon Musk here?
We do have something about Elon Musk here. This is from Jimmy Kimmel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Tomorrow, SpaceX will reportedly launch the biggest IPO in history. An IPO is when a
That's
private
actually today,
company
folks.
starts selling shares to the public for the first time. And once SpaceX does that, Elon Musk is expected to become the first ever trillionaire in the history of the world. I'll hold for applause. And what makes that even more unsettling is this man, our first trillionaire, the richest man in the world, is also one of the weirdest people we've ever seen on this planet. This obscenely wealthy weirdo has the ability and means to blow up the moon if he chooses, and also to put a lot of other people's money in his pockets. You know, SpaceX, it will enter the stock market so highly valued, a lot of 401ks will get triggered to invest in it automatically. That's how it works, which could be very risky for retirement accounts because SpaceX doesn't make money. It lost $5 billion last year. Typically, public companies that don't make a profit aren't automatically added to your 401k. But SpaceX would be so gigantic at the IPO, the index would just have to take it. And the person who said you don't need to save for retirement because in 10 to 20 years, the robots I sell you will provide everything you need, will be rolling around like a pig in your retirement account. Basically,
Ghost Jesse, you can be replaced.
Make Elon a trillionaire and your parents Walmart greeters, okay? Wasn't he supposed to be going to Mars? Wasn't that, can't we chip in to help speed that up? It's $1 trillion. It's hard for our brains to conceptualize that. I mean, we know trillion is a number, but it's so large. You can't, the same way we can't fathom it. The same way we know, like, Elon has a lot of kids, but we can't fathom him getting laid, right? So let me try to illustrate it. If you tried to count out loud to a trillion, you would be counting until the year 33,736. $1 trillion is 10 billion $100 bills. If you stack them up, the pile would be almost 700 miles high, as tall as 123 Mount Everest. With that kind of money, Elon could buy every NFL team, all of them, and he'd still have $773 billion left, which he could use to buy all 30 Major League Baseball teams, every NBA team, every Wendy's, every Target store, the Beatles' entire music catalog. He could buy Nike, Macy's, and every Hyundai Elantra ever produced, and would still have $260 billion, $50 million left over. Elon Musk came to the United States from South Africa in 1995, the son of a humble emerald mine owner. And he is so grateful to this country that allowed him to become a trillionaire. Tesla paid almost no federal income tax over the past 3 years. You know, for a guy who has been openly cheering immigrants getting kicked out of the country for stealing from us, sure seems like an immigrant who's been stealing from us to me. Now,
that's good, just right there. That's good. Yeah, okay. Yeah, hey, imagine that Tesla, $12 billion here. They pay no taxes.
No
Hey,
taxes.
What a country, huh?
Yeah.
Matter of fact, the big, beautiful bill, I happen to hear, because I don't read it. I don't comprehend real well. But the big, beautiful bill, Donald Trump got passed in there, the ability to speed up, accelerate, I guess is the proper term, deflation schedules. You know, so you invest and you buy something. Instead of, sending it over 10 years, you can write everything off over the next 3 years. That's why he calls it the golden age of America, right? It's coming up here. So, hey, Jesse, how much of this, all this stuff Elon Musk is making on this IPO going into the old Social Security system?
None.
Nothing, right?
None.
So my viewpoint is, based on Saving Wall Street in 2008, we should be taxing these guys, having to pay a fee. I don't even call it a tax. Have them pay a fee. They can write that fee off, and deduct it from their income tax. Goes right into Social Security. So in that whole system will last basically forever, in my estimate anyway. So, and now we're going to move on to the actual podcast itself, Jess. What do you think?
All right, on to the podcast, number 19, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got a clip from the 11th hour on MS Now, and basically it's a roundtable discussion on Larry Ellison. They kind of paint a good picture of who this guy is.
Yeah, Jesse, what I'm trying to do here is identify who, a lot of people may not know Larry Ellison. I thought he was some type of billionaire that used to go out and sail in, mega races around the world, but he's a little more than that, I guess.
I guess so, yeah.
We have talked a lot about the ultra-rich tech giants that have worked very hard to get into Donald Trump's good graces. People like Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, and of course, Jeff Bezos. But one of the most important of those Trump allies is somebody you might not have heard of. Oracle co-founder Larry Ellison. I think he's the second richest guy in the world. There is an extraordinary new piece from Wired that is calling him the shadow president. Used to be Elon, now it is Larry Ellison in Trump's America. And I want to share why. Here's a good quote. In an age where human attention is perhaps the world's most valuable commodity, the Ellisons could be in charge of almost everything a modern day pseudo robber baron could want by the end of this year or soon after.
Yeah, he's in charge of about 80. Once this Tesla goes through and he acquires Warner Brothers, which I don't think the Trump administration is going to turn down, he'll be in charge of about 85-90% of everything that's being broadcast out in the United States of America. So if you have to find out what's going on in the world, you might have to go look at the France station, France English, or BBC. You might get more information about what's happening in the world than you're going to get from Larry Ellison's new empire.
Yeah.
And basically, Larry, on the internet, if you look on him, he's a self-defined Zionist, okay? He's a big donor to President Donald Trump, and he's a big supporter of Benjamin Netanyahu. Now, there's three of a kind that can beat a full house any day, Jeff, as far as I'm concerned,
Yeah.
What more do we need to know about the group, right? I mean, we have a transactional president that's looking to make a buck for him and his family, and we got a guy in charge in Israel that's looking to take over all the property, and we got a donor with hundreds of billions of dollars. Well, one time he was the richest man in the world. I think been passed by Musk, but he's right up there, number 2 or 3, and he's willing to spend money to make it happen. So.
Yeah. Here's another clip from the same interview here.
If all goes well in the way the family wants, we're talking about CNN merged with CBS, all these entertainment properties, HBO, and then, a lot of these tech guys are really obsessed with how Weibo works in China, where you sort of have an everything app. So if you sort of extrapolate that a little further and you have TikTok in sort of the same stream as all these other properties, which, by the way, the app Paramount Plus would have some of our most beloved movies and all that. Suddenly, you're talking about a pretty big chunk of America's news and entertainment consumption under control of one family.
Yeah, we're creating a huge monopoly here that, we have laws to make monopolies up, but I don't think our current administration is going to enforce that. The Ellison family is going to control the news content, and they're going to show you what they want you to see, effectively. Mm-hmm. And with TikTok, that's where many Americans get their news, which I really wasn't aware about until I started doing a little research, so. And we have something else coming up.
Oh, we do, yeah.
A big thing is Murdoch infamously bought MySpace right before it sank like a rock. TikTok is still ascendant somehow, even
sure
though,
is.
and
there's no rival to it, really. I mean, Reels to a certain extent,
not really.
but not really. No.
Yeah, and there's a political component to TikTok. That about how like certain parties want the algorithm to have more pro-Israel content to it. So it's I think Rupert Murdoch would have loved to have had his hands on this many properties.
The algorithm it controls how we perceive news right now.
Yeah, it controls how we perceive news. This is where I stand on this. I'm not pro-Israel, and I'm not pro-Palestinian. I think the truth should be put out on the news. Mm-hmm. Okay? It's very simple, It shouldn't be tainted one way or the other. What happens, and it should be reported. Basically, I call that hard news. You should be reporting some hard news, right? And that's what they talk about when they talk about a political component to TikTok, because there's a whole bunch of folks getting that stuff up. And I think Larry Ellison's acquiring this because, according to this gentleman, and I tend to agree, he will probably change the TikTok algorithm. That was the whole purpose of acquiring it. It wasn't like to take it out of the Chinese hand. It was to get control of it and do what they want with it.
Yeah.
And anything regarding our president, I don't think anything Larry Ellison is going to publish would speak harshly to the president or anything he does. Okay, and I also looking at the fact that, it may have a big impact on future political campaigns. Basically, what you hear, you believe, and if you believe it and it's not necessarily true, it's going to cause you to vote a certain way, I guess. So.
Yeah, you repeat a lie often enough,
1,000 times.
People will believe it.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, so here's another clip. Speaking about the impact on future elections and Larry Ellison.
We understand now what they could control. What are they interested in? Right? Who is Larry Ellison?
I'd say Larry Ellison's top two issues would be AI and Israel. Specifically, he's become much more aligned with Prime Minister Netanyahu, much more supportive of the IDF over the course of his time. And that's really where his transformation as a political figure kind of starts to make sense, is he was a real committed donor to the Democrats for a long time. He once said on the record that he thought the Constitution should be amended so that Bill Clinton could run for a third term. And then over the course of the Obama years, he starts to essentially sour on Obama's relationship, souring Bibi Netanyahu. But to your earlier point about, like, is this comparable to the Murdoch family or kind of when in American history? I mean, we didn't take this lightly at Wired, but I think really it's better to look back to the Gilded Age with what the Ellison family is becoming to data and attention is kind of what the Vanderbilts were to rail, what the Rockefellers were to oil.
They were monopolies, and they got broken up, folks. This is what needs to be done with what Larry Ellison is doing. He's not above promoting Donald J. Trump as a third-term president, and we've had some stuff in the past podcast that we kind of talked about the possibilities. Steve Bannon's a big fan of that idea for sure, and he's a pretty smart guy. That Steve Bannon guy, you know. Netanyahu did not like the peace deal drawn up between Iran and Obama, America. Okay? And they're very, very upset with that. Ellison was a backer of Democrats, and now he's a backer of Republicans that are very pro-Netanyahu. So that's the price you pay, I guess, for, trying to do a good job for the world. Anyway, moving on, Jess.
All right. This clip is from Legit Scoop U.S. World News. It's what are Larry Ellison's plans for the future?
Yeah,
Larry Ellison sparks outrage with vision of AI-driven surveillance state. Tech billionaire Larry Ellison has sparked massive internet outrage after predicting that a vast network of AI-powered surveillance cameras will eventually monitor society to ensure citizens are constantly on their best behavior. Speaking to a room of financial analysts, the Oracle co-founder gleefully laid out a dystopian blueprint where drones, police body cameras, and neighborhood security feeds are seamlessly fed into large-scale artificial intelligence models for real-time tracking. Privacy advocates and tech whistleblowers immediately sounded the alarm online, warning that this corporate vision mirrors a modern totalitarian panopticon rather than a genuine framework for public safety. On major online platforms, users are fiercely condemning the tech mogul's tone, labeling his enthusiasm for algorithmic oversight as a direct threat to basic civil liberties and constitutional rights. Many critics fear that tech conglomerates are actively building the infrastructure required for an inescapable digital social credit system under the guise of crime prevention and law enforcement supervision. Conversely, industry proponents argue that continuous machine learning oversight could eliminate police misconduct and dramatically streamline response times during major municipal emergencies. Ultimately, this viral tech confrontation underscores an existential rift over how much of our everyday human autonomy we are willing to sacrifice to corporate-managed AI surveillance networks.
Yeah, one of the world's richest people here, Larry Ellison, has plans for controlling the information we rely on to make our political choices, okay? And further on here, Jess, we got something coming up for what's going on in China. What have they done in the past?
Yeah, let's check out what's going on in China.
Today in China, there are some 600 million surveillance cameras, one for every 2 citizens, able to track people's movements down to the minute.
Every street corner, there's facial recognition, there's digital recognition, there's the social credit system. The social credit system is the sort of highest aspiration of the Chinese Communist Party, to have everything every human being does go into a computer system. And with AI and all sorts of other sophisticated programming, you can know exactly where a person is because he'll have bought something with a credit card or a digital payment system. His car will have gone down a highway. Every kilometer, there's a camera taking pictures of your license plate. They will know everything about everybody real time. This creates a kind of a techno-autocratic system that's unprecedented and with which we've had no experience.
Yeah, that's China capturing, monitoring people with their AI. That clip happens to be 6 years old. Okay,
Yeah.
so God knows what they're doing today, right? Okay, so the stuff I got, they have no updated information on it, so I had to go back 6 years and say, if they're doing this 6 years ago, God knows what they're doing today. Like,
That's from a documentary called China Undercover. That's Frontline PBS.
Frontline.
I think I want to check that out this week.
Yeah, absolutely. Check Frontline is a fabulous. They like the old 60 Minutes, you know, when they used to really put the truth out there.
Yeah, unbiased news,
unbiased reporting.
Yeah,
it's great, you know. So this was Larry Ellison's plan on doing, right? You know, he's going to put cameras all over the world, and he's going to go feed the Oracle, and he's going to make another $1 trillion, I guess, right? And President Trump has billionaires as friends for political donations, and they can also control the media and the messages that are going out that we're going to listen to.
Yeah.
In the 1970s, we used the term here, Big Brother is watching. And okay, so that's where we're headed, folks. We're not far away from getting there either, right?
Yeah, absolutely. The question is, will America follow suit with China in limiting personal freedom?
Yeah, that's right. Let's find out.
He says his work in Xinjiang revealed to him the ways the government gathers data on the Uyghur population.
Birinciden kamera ünü aldığı şey hakkında adamın bağı. Hatta jonşan kırış mesela soğuk saraylar kırış bulamdı. Kiçigidin en kiçige mesela üzünün şovçusu kırıştın zaten mesela orası kırıştın mı? Kimlik sürgep görücü. Hazır dünyadaki en katlık başburulatlar rayon. Xitayning bizning Xinjiang rayonidagi Uyg'urlarga ilib berilayotgan bu nazorat.
One comment I have to make before we jump to the next one. That's the key word here, surveillance regime. That's what the United States has said. They're going to surveil everybody. You won't be able to scratch your butt without somebody seeing it on a camera.
Your government knowing about it. That's
okay,
right.
Jess.
Yeah. Here's another clip from that China Undercover.
The Chinese government did not respond to our questions about the programs. Publicly, they say they're promoting national unity and productivity. Many Uyghurs' houses are also individually marked with digital barcodes. Lee films them.
Police officers come on a regular basis to scan that code, and then the code would pull up your file on their smartphone, and then they would make sure that only the people that are registered for that house are in that house.
Uyghurs and other Muslims are also required to install an app on their phones to monitor for content the government deems suspicious.
There's an emerging ecosystem of apps being developed by the police in Xinjiang, all of which lead to a level of intrusiveness into everyday life that is unprecedented.
While in Xinjiang, Lee is introduced to a security official in the government. He secretly films the conversation. We're concealing the official's identity. He's surprisingly candid. In its responses to us, the Chinese government said, the security situation in Xinjiang has been greatly improved, and there is more effective protection of the freedom of religious belief and human rights of Uyghur Muslims.
Hey, any government, they're talking about China, but it could be our government too. Any government, they'll make up anything to convince their population that they're doing this in your best interest. Okay? The government will be involved in every part of our lives when this moves forward. Personal freedom basically will be gone. And just look at ICE abuse of people in this country. And the personal freedom, you're supposed to be protected, search warrants and stuff. Nah, we don't need that,
Right.
That's where we are with that stuff, right, Jess?
Absolutely, yeah. It's chilling.
It is.
Yeah. So the question becomes, does Larry Ellison have a plan for surveillance?
Well, let's find out, Jess.
Yeah, here's Douglas Rushkoff.
By 2016, Larry Ellison said that Oracle had data on 5 billion consumers. What's he doing? Ellison mostly says it's a healthcare database to prevent or cure cancer. But Ellison's also publicly spoken about AI-powered surveillance. Just a couple of weeks ago, Oracle published a blog post announcing that the U.S. government authorized it to run generative AI on federal government data, including Medicare records and military systems at the highest civilian and DoD security clearance levels. Are we contributing to these efforts when we work or play with AI, pay for pro accounts, or just even watch Ellison's Paramount Media channels or Oracle-owned TikTok? Does building on AI platforms work against even the best intentions of the projects we build?
Yeah, well, we got to thank Donald Trump for that. Yeah, he's basically gave Larry Ellison the green light and the access to all that data. So, and God knows what he's doing with it, but I can't tell you it's not necessarily going to be in our best interest there, Jess. What do you think?
Probably not. No.
The content is where we get our understanding, right, of what's going on in the world, the good, the bad, and the ugly, right, Jess?
That's right. That's how we understand the world. Absolutely.
That's right.
I've got a piece of an article from Fortune magazine on Larry Ellison. Okay, quote, George Orwell's 1984 warned of a future where Big Brother watches every move. Today, modern technology is making that vision a reality, and Oracle founder Larry Ellison, the world's second richest person, sees a growing opportunity for his company to help authorities analyze real-time data from millions of surveillance cameras.
Yeah, Larry Ellison's citizens will be on their best behavior because we're constantly recording and reporting everything that they're doing. Yeah, they're in your life, baby, and it's not going to go away once they get there. This is a reason why we should surrender our personal freedoms, according to Larry Ellison, right? Because we're going to be a little safer, maybe, right? That's really, they want to control everybody and everything they see and hear.
It's all about control.
It's all about control, Jess, right?
Sir, yes, sir. The world Ellison described sounds eerily similar to China's social credit system, which we talked a little bit about here, which controls citizens' behavior through a network of cameras using some of the world's most advanced facial recognition software for surveillance of the Chinese populace. Nowadays, it's commonplace for Americans to whip out their smartphones and film their fellow citizens before uploading it to social media. This risk of this surveillance may not even be confined to those caught acting poorly in public. As described by Larry Ellison, it could include every person in the United States.
One more look at the China excuse for losing personal freedoms, if we can.
Yeah.
Show that clip, just to remind people.
Oh, not that one.
That's one. Yep, you had it.
That was it. Okay, Here we go.
In its responses to us, the Chinese government said, the security situation in Xinjiang has been greatly improved, and there is more effective protection of the freedom of religious belief and human rights of Uyghur Muslims.
You know, those Chinese people are really worried about those Muslims, right?
I'm sure yeah. Right.
Okay. Hey, our government is always taking away personal freedoms. And since I was born, my personal freedoms are shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. The downside is this data that they're collecting can be weaponized. The data can be directed at political candidates. They can influence our lives and the future of everybody in America. Hardworking Americans will lose their personal freedoms like the Chinese. Right, Jess?
That's right. That's right. Absolutely. So here's a clip from France 24 English. Look.
They're constantly monitored by facial recognition cameras that are able to instantly put a face to a name. Now, the Chinese are also ranked, given a mark out of a possible 950 points.
That's good.
Yeah.
The right there, there's a situation here. I looked something up. It's called the mark of the beast.
Yeah.
You familiar with that, with Jess?
I've heard that.
Yeah, it's a concept that you got to have something on your head. That's pretty close, you know.
Yeah.
And it's a number. It's from the New Testament, the Book of Revelation, chapter 13. For all my religious friends out there, you might want to look it up. It's described as a mark on the forehead that people must receive to participate in their economy. And that's where the United States is heading, folks. If you make a mistake, you're in deep trouble. Thanks, Jess.
Sure, yeah. All right, so here's one more clip for us.
The Supreme Court has created a blacklist for so-called bad citizens, those whose ratings have dropped to 0. On it are companies, but also 23 million people to date. Among them is this journalist, Liu Hu. He got a little too close to uncovering corruption among high-profile party members. After being sued for defamation by the subject of a story he'd written, he was blacklisted. But he only realized when he tried to buy a train ticket and was told he was banned from traveling.
That tells me I'm still on the blacklist.
Punished because he's been branded untrustworthy by the state.
Once you're blacklisted, you can no longer get a bank loan, start a business, buy an apartment, or even send your children to a private school.
Liu Hu is among a tiny minority of people who have dared to criticize the system, which some are calling a digital dictatorship.
I worry, because I think many people like me will be deprived of individual freedoms, and all of us will live with restrictions of one kind or another.
After our meeting, Liu Hu learned that his name had been removed from the blacklist, but he still has a long way to go if he doesn't want to languish at the bottom of the social credit hierarchy.
He's right. Lose personal freedoms. You know, once you get a mark on you, that will never go away. It's in the computer. It's like if you do something stupid on, the social media, and you interview a job, and they look you up, and they say, "Man, this guy's a nutcase. We're not going to hire him, right?"
Yeah.
But once you get that mark, right, you got that number on your head, right? They know who you are, and once you're marked, you'll be marked for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Right.
Just for speaking out against something the government is doing.
So basically, I call this hardworking Americans. We're heading into a China syndrome, and that's not with the meltdown. That's with technology, right?
Mm-hmm.
Billionaires are watching us very, very closely.
Yeah. I read the majority of young adults and teens use TikTok. About 6 in 10 adults under 30, that's 63%, 6 out of 10 say they're on the platform, compared with smaller shares of older adults.
That's right. I've never been on TikTok. I always thought it was a guy jumping off the roof and hitting a mattress and stuff like that. It was like for funny stuff, you know?
Yeah, well, that's a fun corner of TikTok.
Yeah, I guess so. But I never realized that so many young people, that's important. So they're wrapping all this stuff around Larry Ellison. He's taken that over, and now he's going to control the messages that show up on TikTok. He's going to try to influence the potential voters in the future and how they look at things. The college kids that were protesting pro-Palestinian rights, okay, they got that information from TikTok. I don't see them getting that information in the future anymore, Jess.
No.
Okay.
No, not with the Ellisons and the Musks controlling all of our media. And the Murdochs, yeah.
Yeah, Murdoch's in there a little bit, too. But he would have liked the whole thing, but he didn't get it. Hey, listen, that's all I got to say, Jeff. My final comment. All the news content will still be controlled by billionaires. It really already is, for all intents and purposes. And their corporations, with their selective viewpoints, that's what you're going to hear. They're going to filter everything down so that they're going to persuade you to think like they want you to think. The days of the hard news reporting is over. Jesse, you're fabulous.
All right. Thanks a lot, Bill. Follow us, Wake Up America. On YouTube, it's Wake Up America with Bill Crafton. And look for us on social medias, and we'll see you next Friday.
The last word, vote them out.
Vote them out. Wake Up America.